Oh, good morning, guys. It is a cool, chilly morning. We actually have a busy day. I feel like we say that every day, but it's just real truth. This morning I'm actually moving the girls just out of the main staging area. The only reason is because we have our vet coming today, and our vet is actually going to be cutting Petey. Come on. I hate to move them out of here. Go girl. Come on, sit. They want the fresh grass paddock right here. But they got to be out of the way because we're bringing the boys over. But our vet's coming today. We're going to do a mini video, a how-to on why we're cutting versus banding. So Petey gets to be cut today, which is, it's always bittersweet, but that's going to happen today. Why he's here, we've got 3 male piglets that are going to be cut as well. We have customers who wants cut boars. So we had one that left here on the last few vlogs ago. You saw that was an uncut boar. They were going to raise a breed of American Guinea hog. And sorry about that sun, guys, it's kind of bright. So the other 3 are basically feeders for individuals and some pets. So we've got to cut those 3 as well. So we'll be cutting the piglets today with the vet. And then also we have another family coming to pick up their piglet. This is a little female piglet. So it's just a busy day. Before we do all that, though, we got to move them. We got to get them where they're supposed to go. Another thing that's going to happen this weekend. So we've got to get everything ready. But another thing that's got to take place is we're going to be butchering 3 turkeys. So the only reason we're butchering those, we're butchering 2 for Thanksgiving, so we're part of. And then we have a client that's going to be buying a turkey for their house as well. So busy next few days. Look forward to some really good vlogs coming up on all the stuff that's taking place too, in detail. Not just the family vlog, but just some how-tos as well, and informative vlogs about why we do what we do. So Aiden's walking them across. They come from all the way down here across the creek. They're walking up to this gate. Now we've got the girls, like we said, moved over already, but we've got to cross the boys right here on the main road. This is why we built these gates across from each other, so when we rotate, it just makes it easier. And we gotta get Petey. Petey's the only one that's got to go over there, but Petey won't follow. Petey won't go by himself. He has to follow the other one, so we're gonna let him follow them. All right, take it, bud. Hey, Daddy-O now is running towards that fence. That's where the girls are, but that's why we went on and split them off, because it's been kind of almost impossible to try to move these bull calves and bull with the girls right there close. All right, they're in. First task done. We've got them moved. This grass is looking really good. They've ate it down, which is what I was hoping for. We're gonna put another bale of hay right here where there's no grass, right there. We're gonna put a bale of hay, and that way they'll kind of focus right there. The manure load will be right there. And then what I'm gonna do I'm gonna give them about another 2 or 3 weeks in this monster paddock. It's about 4 acres. So they got plenty of room, plenty of food. But I'm gonna make them eat some hay in areas. That way, once their manure is dropped, once they've been peeing everywhere, that helps spread the love. All right, Aiden had to go get our cage, so that way we can put these little piglets in there. There's 5 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right, 5 left. 2's already gone. We've got to cut 3 boars, and then 1 female is leaving today. So we'll, and then really all the cut boars will be leaving probably in the next 2 or 3 days. We got the 3 boys in there. We're not gonna worry about getting a girl right now because the cage is not really conducive for another piglet in there. So we've got them taken care of. These girls have got another 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks. If they don't have a baby by then that's processing time for them. These are doing well. I'm gonna find another gilt to become a new sow to breed with this American Guinea hog piglet. That's about it. He's probably 8 months old now, but I need to kind of get him prepared to be a breeding stock to take over George's position. But he can't breed with anything else because these are all part of his bloodline. And then we're gonna start a whole nother set of these Yorkshires there together. We're on a waiting list for March to get those 2 new breeders for them. So excited about some of the pig maneuvering we're doing, but we got to sell these pigs and get them taken care of first, and then on to the next projects. The lake is looking beautiful. Got some white cranes right here on those cypresses that are just absolutely gorgeous. But it's amazing how God made these creatures to where we do this, and we did this last time, and less than, you know, an hour later, every animal was just fine. The pigs were back eating. The bull calves at that time were just hanging out, no big deal. So God made them to be able to take care of this and take care of us by doing that. So girl pig will be leaving at lunch.
She'll be going at lunch. The other 2, male and female, will be going tomorrow after lunch.
And then the other 2 cup males will be Monday-ish. And then we'll be left with well, that's every one of them. Yeah, that's all of them.
That'll be all.
This
is the hard part for me because I don't like to see it, but I mean, you know, it's just part of it.
We're gonna go do feeding right quick, which is never fun. But it's their last bad day on the farm is today. Are you next? We've actually just talked to the vet about this guy. You know, he's supposed to be our weather. However, the farrier, and this is why one thing we're going to talk about real quick with him, and once we're done, is.
Let's go.
Hold that. Man, this guy's gonna kick me. Banding versus cutting. Now, this guy was banded by a farrier before we picked him up, but now he's really showing to be a ram, like Trump. This is Donald. He's supposed to be in the weather, but since the vet's here, I got his professional opinion. He said, yeah, he needs to be cut. So we're gonna go ahead and cut him too, and that way he'll be ready, because we're gonna try to butcher him around March. So I'm gonna interview the vet after we get done, just to kind of make sure, and he's gonna tell me why we're doing what we're doing. We've got the pigs done. They were pretty much like last time, pretty easy. Of course, the steer, or the bull calf did just like we wanted to. Now, we posed this last time, banding versus cutting. This is gonna be a prime example of why we talk about that. So kind of tell why band versus cut, and then we're going to talk about this guy right here.
So a lot of times, a lot of people love the band. It's easy and everything, but unless you get both testicles in there, you're probably doing more harm than good. So even cutting, I prefer cutting to banding, because you make sure you get all the testicle, all the tissue out, and there's no chance of them having any testosterone left from that. So to me, cutting is much better than banding.
Now, I've heard some people say, oh, well, if you can catch them early enough, band them when they're a baby. Now, let's talk about this guy. This guy was literally banded when he was, 4-6 weeks old.
Correct. So he was banded incorrectly. So what happened is he only got a piece of the skin. So he would be better off when he was a baby to go ahead and cut him. So if you could, it's not that much more trauma to cut him versus banding.
Okay, so that's the reason, great reason. Now, one more question I want to ask you. I know I have friends who say, oh, we let them get as big as they can, then cut them later on so they're getting bigger and beefier. With every animal, is it best to go ahead and cut when they're babies, or just wait to let them grow a little bit?
Depends on what you're doing. If you are selling cattle and you're never going to cut them, leave them a bull, they'll grow off. Let somebody else deal with that. If you're going to feed them out and sell them as steers, go ahead and cut them. I cut them as young as possible.
Okay.
Because there's less bleeding, less chance of serous cord, less chance of infection, a lot easier to handle too. And you can get these bigger animals, if the testicles are too big, they can bleed to death when it gets that big. So a lot of times, if I see an 800-pound bull, if they want to steer, we just kind of let them go. We may not even castrate them. If we do, we got to do some things a little different, put a emasculator or something like that on there.
Okay, so like this guy, he might be struggling more than the other because he's a little bit bigger.
Well, see, he's also had this testosterone through his system, so I've stripped this out of his system now. Okay. So it's going to take him a little while to rebound from not having this in his system.
Okay, so great words there. That was the main thing, because I know this one was supposedly quote unquote banded, and you see, actually now we're getting the repercussions of that. The day is not always the easiest day on our farm. With castration, that's a big deal. I mean, I hate it. I wish we didn't have to do it.
Well, I definitely don't like it. It's something that's, like you said, it's hard to watch. It's graphic, but it is something that sometimes is necessary. So it's one of those things you just have to put your big boy underwear on and get it done.
You know, and we want to show this because it's raw and it's hard, and But this
It's
is what
real.
it's real. I mean, it's what we got to have food for ourselves. This is part of that journey that we go on. Doesn't make it easy, but just makes it real. Now, the reason we always have a professional do it, people do it on farm all the time, but we allow a professional to do it because we want you to see that he knows what he's doing. He went to school for this, and he's even saying advising the same way. So when we talk about thought pattern, we still think this is the best way. It's hard, but this is the way we provide for our family to have the meat.
Yep. And Donald will have the hardest time because he was supposedly done and supposedly paid
Not
for.
by a true professional, not by a vet.
Not by a trooper. That's where I'm going with this. So he's going to have a harder time because he's older, and then we realized his boys are still there. So
The best way to say it.
yeah, so now he's going to have a harder time recovering because he's much older, and it's easier on them when they're smaller. I mean, like our pigs, as soon as you put them down, they were running around like nothing ever
Already
happened.
eating. I mean, they were already back eating with no
Like,
issues.
Nothing ever happened. So he's going to have the harder time because he was not done by a professional that knew what they were doing, and it's going to take him a little bit longer to get over.
Our kids are singing. All right, so we're going to end this video. It's always hard. We're going to walk the boys back. I mean, really, Petey's acting fine too. He's walking around. Really, the one that's going to have the toughest time is our
But
sheep.
the older they are, the harder it is for them. I mean, it's just...
But it's the step. If you have animals and you're planning on, just like we said about the deer hunting yesterday's video, things are not easy sometimes on the farm, and we have to. I mean, we're butchering turkeys. I mean, that's part of feeding us. So it's hard. I mean, it's not a petting zoo. It's a farm. So
Yeah.
God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.